So basically, in today's session, we are going to discuss the users management. In last session, we have discussed roles management, how you can create a new role, how you can update the role, how you can see who are the user who are already assigned with that role, how you can delete an existing role. Before deletion, you have to ensure no users are assigned with that role. So all these things we have discussed in our last session. Today, what we are going to discuss, we are going to discuss the users management. Similar to the user roles management, again here we are also going to implement that filter options. I mean, filtering the user data. Again, we are also going to provide that pagination options. We are also going to provide the options to add a new user. We can also provide the options to delete an existing user, edit the details, edit edit an existing user. We are also going to provide the options to see the user details. For example, if you see this is my user details and currently this user is assigned which roles, that roles the information also we are going to provide, and this is important. So assigning roles to user is very very important, and for this purpose, right, we are going to create this manage roles option. So manage role screen. So this screen is basically going to tell currently whatever all roles are there in the database, and out of all these roles, which roles are already assigned with the user, and they also provide the options to select and unselect any roles if you want. For example, if you want, you can select all the role, you can deselect all the role, you can specify which roles should be assigned to this particular user. All these things are provided here, and that is what we are also going to discuss. So the complete user management system we are going to discuss. We can edit the existing user, we can create a new user, we can delete the existing user, and for here you have to select the checkbox, and then it will allow you to then it will allow this yes delete button to be enabled, and once you unchecked, this is going to be disabled. So again, from this page, for this particular user, if you want to manage the role, you can directly click on this manage roles button. Clear? This is what we are going to discuss in today's session. So once this is completed, next what we are going to discuss, that role-based access control. So here we are assigning roles to user. Then I will see how you can ensure which methods to be accessible by user. Even for that user, you should have this role and that role. If the role is assigned, then he can access. If role is not assigned, he cannot access. Again, I'm going to show you, right. It is also possible to uh, enable and disable menus. For example, if the role is this one, then this menu item is going to be visible. If the role is not this one, then this menu item is not going to be visible. If you do not have any permission to access any page, then how you can show that access denied page? So all these things we are going to discuss in our next session. And after that, we'll discuss claim-based authentication. So with role-based and claim-based authentication, our basic concept is going to be completed. Then we'll discuss the external authentication and the advanced concept, right? So let us proceed and understand the user.
Excuse me, user management that is done by the administrator.
Sorry?
The administrator is going to manage the user.
Yeah, this is for the, see, there are,
Uh,
you have to remember, there are two types of a user. What are the types of a user? One type that is going to be registered by themselves, right? For example, if you take the car, right, any e-commerce application. So as a customer, you can register and you can buy the product. But to manage the overall flow of the application, that application having some internal user or not, they are going to check how many orders are pending, how many orders are placed, whether these orders are proceed successfully or not. Do I need to manually handle the refund functionality? So for that purpose, you need some internal user or not.
yes, yes,
Yes. For example, one user doing some illegal activity, you want to block that user. So that flexibility you should provide to the administrator. Now, whatever the functionality we are going to discuss, this is related to the internal user. External user we have already discussed. External user they can register himself, right? Here you can say that external user going to be registered themselves. But in this case, internal user means the admin is going to create internal user, and those internal user going to manage the internal things of the application. So that is what we are going to discuss in today's session. Clear? Clear or
yes,
not?
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. So let us proceed and understand this thing step by step. So first of all, right, these are the pages what we are going to discuss. So we have already discussed. So now let us proceed and implement these things one by one. So first of all, what I need to do, I need to create a folder. So first of all, I need to create a folder, and that folder I'm going to create within the view models folder. So similar to this roles folder where I'm going to create all the view models related to roles management, I'm going to create a separate folder for easy management, and that folder name is going to be user. So all the view model related to users management are going to be stored here. So once this is done, first of all, let me start with the filtered user list view, user list filter view model. So basically, right, let me go and log in this page. So we are discussing step by step. Uh, After this, we are going to discuss the role-based access control and what I can say, uh, claim-based access control. So in this case, whatever the filtered data, like search status, whether the confirmed me email, page size, page number, so all these things is required for the filterance. So this data I can take by creating a view model, and that view model is going to be user list filtered view model. So let me go ahead and create a class file here. That class file I'm creating here, please observe. So the name is user list filter view model. So this is going to my user listing page. And for this page, I'm going to create the view model. So I'm giving the name as user list filter view model. Clear? And here, whatever the data I'm going to put, please observe. So search text box is going to be there. Yes, I'm going to take the name of the user, email of the user, phone number, username, anything you can put here. The second one is status active and is active. So here you can see I'm having this is active boolean field. The third one is you can check whether the confirmed email or unconfirmed email. If you do not select anyone, then both confirmed and unconfirmed email user. If you do not select active and inactive, then it is going to filter all. So that two field you can see here is active and email confirmed. The second one is the page size and page number. By default, page number is going to be 1. By default, page size is going to be 5. If you click on this next button, then that page number 2 will be set, and from this drop down list you can select any of the page number. So these two fields are also going to be there. What is that field name? One is page number, another one is page size. Clear?
Yes.
Clear or not? So this view model
Ye-
is clear.
Yeah.
So guys, remember, whenever you are creating any database, whenever you are creating any model, each column use you should know. Why I'm creating that column? If I don't know the use case, then you will get right. You will face confusion and you will not get the clarity. Clarity means you should know what is the use of each column. Why I'm putting that column? Where this column is going to be used. That what matters. So once this is done, then user list item view model. So for example, inside this view, right? Inside this view, you can see this is going to be my item data. So whatever the data I'm going to discuss here, the name, email, phone number, status, email status created on along with the user ID. So this information I need to display in the listing page. And for this purpose, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one model. That name is going to be user list item view model. So let me go ahead and create one class file. And this class file is going to hold the item data for the listing page. Whatever the data you want to show, those columns you need to put it here, right? So let's see what are the column. Email, username, first name, last name, full number, is active, email confirmed and created on. So these are the data that what I'm showing here. Name, it is the combination of a first name and last name. Email, phone number, status, email confirmed, created on. And along with this, we are also putting this ID, because based on the ID column value, the corresponding details, edit, manage, role, and delete, these actions are going to be performed. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So this view model is clear. Okay. The next one is a user create view model. So for creating a new user, whatever the data is required, right? Whatever the data means, first name is required, last name is required, email is required, and then you can see the date of birth is required, phone number is required, password and confirm password, and active and email confirm. So as this user is going to be created by the admin internal user, you can directly mark the email confirm, right? And here email confirm functionality is not required. Yes, if the user is registered themselves, right? I mean that user is a normal user who wants to purchase something on your website. In that case, email verification is required. But in this case, you can directly mark the email as a confirm, no issue. Clear? So these are the data that is what required by us. So for this, in this page, do I need the ID column value? User ID is required or not?
Yes.
What is the use of a user ID in this page? While I'm creating the user, am I going to take the user ID from the
No,
user?
no ID. No,
No,
it
No.
will form his ID.
not from the user.
Then what
Internally
is
we
the
use.
use? Then what is the use of
No,
user ID? If I'm not taking the
after
user ID from
creating,
the user,
after creating, user can have ID.
oh, that is going to be created by the system, not from the user. So whenever I'm
Okay,
creating
okay.
an
So
user,
it's not necessary. Yeah.
data is required by the system. Only those data we need to take from the user. So in this case, user ID is not required, right? So let me go ahead and create this view model. Again, where I need to create this view model within the users folder. So the view model name is going to be user create view model. And let me go ahead and create this one. So in this case, you can see this is my first name. I'm applying some data annotation. Last name is also applied. Email is there. And here also you can see remote validation is also provided. And we have already discussed this remote validation. So what is the w- right? We have already created when. Now you can see I'm having this remote validation controller. Here it is this each email available. So basically that remote validation is going to be implemented for the email field. So whatever the email ID I'm providing for while creating a new user, that email ID should not already be taken by someone else. To ensure that, we need to ensure this email remote validation. Phone number is there, date of birth is there. Again, this date of birth validation, you can apply some kind of a custom validation that like it should not be greater than the current date, it should not be a future date, so like this. So this is going to my ejective column. This is going to my mark email confirmed column. So basically, I'm not going to provide it at an email verification functionality for email confirmed while the user is being created by the admin. If the user is created themselves, yes, email confirmation is required. But here, directly you can mark whether the email ID is confirmed or not. And this is my password and confirm password. And here you can see I'm applying the compare attribute. So whatever the password data I entered, that value must be compared or must be same with the confirm password. Otherwise, this validation will be failed. And here I'm saying that the date of birth should not be greater than current system date. So this is going to be my user create view model. Clear?
Yeah, but what is the purpose of confirmed email if it is not needed here?
So without this column, how you will ensure that how you are going to mark this thing? So in the users table, we are having one column, right? Email confirm. How you will ensure that email confirm value is going to be true or false? For example, why I'm providing this option here? Because for example, one user is available and you want to ensure that user I'm creating, but that email is not yet confirmed. Later I will confirm this one. In that case, user account is created, but that user cannot access the system until and unless his email is not confirmed. So that is the reason why in this case, as an admin, you have the flexibility. Do you want the allowed to access the system immediately? Or you want to create the user, but access will be provided later. So in that case, this email confirm field is going to handle this thing. No, I want the user to access the system immediately as soon as the account is created. Okay, mark the email confirm. No, I'm going to create this user at this point of time. So, but when the user is going to access, that what I will decide later. In that case, what you need to do, once the user is created, you can see that the status here, it is inactive, here active. So what you can do is you can mark this email confirm. For example, you can see the user is not active, account is not, email is not confirmed, but the user is created. So until and unless email is not confirmed, he cannot access the system. Now you decide, okay, now it's time that as right introduction is completed, whatever the pre joining formalities are done. Now let's give them access to access the system. So in that case, you can go to this edit page and you can mark this field as confirmed. So now the user can access. So here you have the flexibility whether you want the user should access the system immediately or later. Clear?
Yeah, very. Thank you.
Right? So that is what I have provided. Now, next what I'm going to do is user edit view model. So in the case of a user edit view model, so whatever the properties we defined here, definitely all these properties are required, yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Apart from this thing, anything else is required? While editing the user, anything else is required?
User ID.
User ID, and to handle the concurrency, anything else is required? For handling the concurrency, which column we are going to use? This concurrency staff column is
Row
required.
version.
Concurrency staff. So these two columns are required, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the view model. Whatever the properties I define here, plus I'm going to use right. I'm going to add two more new properties. So let me go ahead, user edit view model, and in this view model, right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the same thing. Same thing in the sense, all the existing properties plus additional user ID is required and additional concurrency stuff is required. And this concurrency stuff, right, you can see hidden input to display value false. So this is not going to be displayed in the UI, and this is required, right? Whenever you are updating the data, this concurrency stuff value is required. It see even not if you want, then you can also right, even if I'm making this as a null level, so required is not I mean it is optional. If you provided, that will come into the picture. If not provided, that is fine. Clear? Right? Clear, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now what I need to do? Okay, so whatever the changes I have done, I need to update this thing here. Now, next one is the user details view model. So basically, if you look at our page, so this is my details page. In the details page, I'm going to show the user information plus the assigned role. So for this purpose, so this assigned roles means each role you can see the name, and it is a list of roles. So list of a string I need. So in the user details page, I need one list of a string to hold the corresponding or the assigned roles for the particular user. So let me go ahead and create this one, user details view model. So in this view model, all the user properties are going to be there, plus one property to hold the list of assigned roles. So whichever roles are assigned, that assigned roles I'm going to hold here. So ID, you can see email, username, first name, last name, phone number, whatever, all the properties, date of birth, last login, is active, email, confirm, created on, modified on, and the associated roles. Clear? Clear? This view is clear, and this view model is going to be used inside this page. Clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now once this is done, right, you can see we are having one page where I'm going to assign the roles to the user. So inside this page, whatever the user details, user ID, user email, whatever the data, plus how many, right, and again, in this view, whatever all roles are there, that role name, role ID, role description, these three things are required. And whether that role is assigned to this particular user or not. So basically, in this case, this role checkbox item means what? Now this is going to contain the independent checkbox. So here you can see admin, this is the role name. Administrator role with full permission, this is the role description. Whether this role is selected on selected one boolean value we need, plus the corresponding ID. So basically, this role checkbox item going to contain how many properties? Four properties. What are these four properties? One is role ID, role name, role description, whether this role is selected right already assigned to this user or not. For that purpose, we are going to have one checkbox. So the four things I need. So this is going to be my role checkbox item. So let me go ahead. No additional properties, nothing, only whatever the data is required. Accordingly, we need to design our view model. So in this case, this is going to be my view model. So this is going to be my role ID, role name, description, whether this role is selected or not. Clear?
Yes.
Right. And apart from this, again, we need this user roles edit view model. So user roles edit view model. So this is going to be one view model, which is going to contain one role data. Similarly, in this page, what I need the user information plus the list of role checkbox items. Clear? So for this purpose, what I'm doing, I'm going to do here is I'm going to create one role, I mean one view model where I'm going to store the user ID, where I'm going to store this user name plus the list of right roles that what we have created here. This list of a role checkbox item. So these three things I need inside my manage roles view model. I'm manage roles view. So let me go ahead and create this one. So the name is going to be whatever the name you want, you can give, but here user roles edit view model or user roles manage view model, whatever name you want, you can give, no issue. But in this case, it should have three things. What are the things? One is the user ID 100%. One is the username, that is the display name in the UI, plus the list of associated role checkbox items. Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
So let me go ahead, and this is going to my rate, what I can say, uh, view model. So these are all my view models. So whatever the view models required for this page, right, I have created the view model. For this one, we have also created the view model. For this page also we have created. For edit also we have created, and for create a new model, we have also created the view model. So now if you look, so this is the user roles edit, user roles item filter, edit view model, details view model, create view model, and the role checkbox item. So this role checkbox item is going to be used by this user roles edit view model, and other things are very simple. So create means creating a new user, details means showing the details of a user, edit means editing the user, list means the index page, and sorry, this list filter means the filtered option which we are going to take from the index page, and the user list item view model means this is the what I can say, individual items that what we are going to display in the index page. Clear? For this page. So these are all my view model. Next, what I need to do, I need to create my services. Whatever the services required by the application, let us proceed and create this thing. So where I need to do this thing? Within the services folder, first of all, create one interface. That name is going to be IE user interface service. So this is my interface method. So here I'm only declaring the method. I'm not explaining this method here. Why? Because I'm going to provide the implementation, and at the time of implementation, I'm going to discuss each method in detail. So let me go ahead and create a class file. And this class file is going to implement the IE user service interface. So, and in this class file, all the business logic we are going to write. So let me proceed and copy this code. And then I will explain each method in detail so that you will get the clarity. Clarity is important. And again, in this page, right, I'm going to discuss some advanced feature. So you might be working with the transaction, but in this case, I'm going to use the transactions in a different way. I mean, right, for example, guys, remember, if you are using a transaction, so whenever you are communicating with the database, because of some temporary database error, your right connection is lost. So in that case, it's not it a good programming practice to give some retry functionality? Yes or no? Because of some issue,
Yes.
deadlock issue is
Yeah.
there,
To be
database
able to
down,
retrieve. Yeah.
some connection is lost, right? So in that case,
Be able to
if that
recover.
connection is lost, unable to perform the operation, instead of returning the error immediately, is not it good to give some retry mechanism?
Yep.
Yes.
how you can implement that retry mechanism using entity framework core functionality. Does entity framework core provide any flexibility to implement that retry functionality? Yes. So that is what I'm going to discuss in today's session. First of all, you can see I'm injecting my user manager, role manager, and my DB context. Okay, so if you are getting confusion, so let me give this name as a DB context. So that name I'm providing here, DB context. So let me give this name as a DB context. So because I generally prefer to use the full name and that makes sense. So this is my DB context. Okay, so wherever the error are there, that what we will capture and we will read. Okay, let me first fix this compile name error. So where we are using DB, we need to replace with the DB context. Right. Now let us proceed and understand. So this is get user async method. So get user async method means what? Now get user. So basically in the index page, by taking all the filter conditions, I need to return the data. And for this filter options, whatever we provided, we are providing those information by using this user list filter view model. So using this view model, I need to filter the data. First of all, I need to ensure what should be the page number. If the page number is less than 1, I mean if someone provided some negative number, then in that case we are going to set the default page number. If they have provided a valid page number, that will be my valid page number. And what type of operator is this one? Can anybody tell me what type of operator is this one?
Ternary.
Ternary
Ternary.
operator.
So similarly, if the page size is a negative number, so do I need to allow negative page size? No. So in that case, the default page size is going to be 100. If page size is provided, then also we need to check it should not be make greater than 100. So if default page size is going to be 10, if it is a negative number, if it is provided, then that should not be greater than 100 because if I'm sending more than 100 record, it might be take some more time and that doesn't feasible, right? Let's assume our requirement is the page size can be greater than 1 but less than 100. If you are providing a negative number, in that case, right? If you are providing a negative number, in that case, it will take the value as 10. If you are providing a value which is less than 100, that's fine. That will be my page size. But if you are providing a value that is greater than the max page size, then in that case, it will take this one. So if the page size what you provided, let's assume 120. So 120 is not valid. So in that case, whatever the page size we define here, that is going to be the size. If you are providing 20, 30, 40, so in that case, this condition becomes false. In that case, whatever the size you provided, that is going to be my page size. Clear? Again, this is a ternary operator, and within the ternary operator, another ternary operator. Clear?
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And here I'm preparing my base query. So I'm using a as node tracking because this is going to be a read-only operation. And here I'm applying the dynamic search. If the search is provided, then I need to check this search within the right non-numeric. I mean, right here you need to remember this search box what I provided. It can be checked with the name column. It can be checked with the email column. It can be checked with the phone number column. It can also be checked with the username column. In our case, email and username both are going to be same. And how you can ensure whether right, I need to compare this with the name, email, phone number, and the username. Because if someone provided some string value, can I apply that string on the phone number? No. If it doesn't contain one @ symbol, can I apply that on the email ID column? No. If someone provided only digit, then can I apply that on the name, email, and username? No. Digit means it should be compared with the phone number. If it doesn't contain digit, doesn't contain @ symbol, then can I apply on the first name and last name? Yes, you can apply. So that flexibility we need to provide. How? Let us see. See, in this case, whatever the filter, first of all, I trim that. Trim means right. Trim means what? Now, whatever the extra spaces available before the string and after the string, that is going to be what I can say uh, deleted. So, in this case, this S upper means search upper. So, okay, let's keep this naming convention more proper. So, this is going to be search upper. So, S upper means search uppercase. Okay. And here, whatever the search means, let's give this as a search. Another error. Okay. Okay. So you should have. So basically, whatever the search data you provided, that what we filtered, we trim so that the spaces, if there is any from the beginning and at the end, they are going to be removed. And then we convert that to lowercase to make our operation. Sorry, in this case, we are making this to uppercase to make our search operation faster. Why? Because if you remember, we are having some normalized username and a normalized email ID. So in that column, I can do the filter and that is going to be faster. Why? Because those columns contains the uppercase version of the data. If you check, if you see here, so we are having this normalized, you can see normalized username and a normalized email. So make these things right better. So I'm converting that to uppercase. Now, if the search contain one arthrate symbol, if the search contains one arthrate symbol, then what I need to do? I need to check the normalized email column. So I need to check the normalized email column. If the email column is not null, then only I'm going to compare with the normalized email column. So in our case, this normalized email is never going to be null. So if you want, you can also remove this condition. So this right, if you want, you can also remove this condition, that is also fine. Clear?
Yes.
Clear, guys? Because here we are ensure, we are 100% sure this column is not going to be right, what I can say, empty. Now, if the search contain only digit, so search dot all is all character are digit. If all character are digit, then in that case, I need to check this search string on which column? On the
Phone number.
phone number, right? And if it doesn't contain arthrate symbol, if it doesn't contain any digit, then whatever the name you provided, that what I need to check with the, right, what I can say, on the normalized,
अरे पकड़ो ना भाई.
I need to check with the, right, where I need to check with, I need to check with the normalized username, last name and last name column. Clear?
Yes.
Anyone having any question? How this filter is going to work dynamically? One text box, but that text box value I'm going to compare with the multiple columns based on the data what we provided. Right now, if you will see, right, whenever you are logging with the Google and something, they are asking please enter your mobile number or email ID. So how that is going to work? That is going to work with this approach. If it contains arthrate symbol means they will consider this is the email ID. If all the character are digit means they will consider this is the phone number. And accordingly, they are going to do the validations. Clear? Clear or no?
Yep.
Who is on mute? Who is on mute, guys?
Yep. It's there.
Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to apply the other conditions also. Here you can see that each active value is there, each email confirmed value is there. If they are provided, that's fine. If they are null, then we are not going to take those columns into consideration. If provided, that what we will take into consider whether it is going to be true or false. Same in the case of an email. So after the filtration, what I need to do, as always, right, what we are doing, we need to call this countersink method. And this countersink method is going to return me a single integer value telling how many records are satisfied the given condition in the users table. Clear?
Yes.
Clear or not? Till now, anyone having any
Yeah.
question? Okay. Now, so once this is done, then what I need to do, I need to filter the data. So basically here you can say I'm providing multiple filter, right, order by clause. If you want, you can also skip this one. If you want, you can skip, right, you can only apply one order by clause. But here, what is my requirement? First, I'm sorting the data by first name, then last name, then email, then ID. So if you want to remove anyone, that is also fine. So that is up to you only, right? Whatever your requirement, you can right do this thing. For example, if you want to get the raw preference, you can also set by created on column also, only by created on. So basically, whatever the right conditions you want to apply for filtering the data, you can apply here. So now for me, I want to sort the data by first name, last name, and then by email ID. Then whatever the page, right, how many records to be skipped, that logic I have applied. How many records to be ticked, that logic also I have applied. But in this case, do I need all the column data in this page? No. Only ID, first name, last name, email, phone, status, email, right, status, and created. This information is required. So why should I fetch all the data? I can project the data what I need by using the select projection operator. Here you can see I'm projecting the data to user list item view model and whatever the properties are required. So this is similar to select a column name. And if I do not use this thing, if I directly write this to list, then it will going to return me a list of application user with all the column. But in this case, it is not application user. It is going to project the response to this data model and with only these columns. And again, these columns are going to be specified in the select clause of the query, what is going to be generated. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right? And then for my view, as in this case, you can say pagination is required. Then what I need to do, I need to use my page result of a user list item view model. So page result of a user list item view model. So in this case, this is going to be list of items, and that's what I have specified here. Clear? And in the page result, you can see the data is going to be total count, page number, page size, total page. And here T is going to be this one. T is going to be this one. So items is nothing but a list of a user list items view model. Clear? So you might be confusing. Sir, here we are specifying one in the type. It is not a collection. Then how we can store this collection, right? Items data within this items collection, because whatever the type we specified, that type is going to be the list of T in the items collection. So if you go to the definition, then this is going to be I read only list of T items. So this is going to my data. So now we need to create a new user again. So while I'm going to create a new user, there might be chance the database is going to be down. I mean that temporary issue is there, which is called as a transient SQL error. So transient SQL error means what? Now the error which are short-lived and temporary failure, and if you react, it might be worse. And for example, there is some network issue, there is some deadlock, there is some resource throttling, so there is some lock timeout. So these are some of the common use cases of transient error. And in SQL Server, whenever you got this status code, so these are going to be transient error. So this transient error can be right fixed if you retry. So first time you apply right, make a request to the database to execute some query, it might be not work. It might be failed because of the transient SQL error. When you try the second time, it might be work. Then how you can implement that retry mechanism? How you can specify the execution strategy? So for this purpose, what Entity Framework Core provided us, it provided us this create execution strategy. So basically what I need to do, I need to create one SQL Server retry execution. See this create execution strategy method on the database class. Once you call, it will give me an instance of this SQL Server retrying execution strategy. And using this strategy dot execute async method, I need to write my database interaction code. So now within this database interaction code, Whenever I'm communicating with the database and whenever I'm performing some operation, if that operation is failed, then it will retry. It will not go down immediately, it will retry. So that mechanism I'm going to implement here. So first of all, I need to create my execution strategy, and using this execution strategy, that execute right method. Here, this is a dynamic type. You can specify what type of data this asynchronous block, asynchronous method is going to return. Here, I'm expecting the identity result, which is going to tell what happens to the identity data, and if possible, whatever the newly created user ID, that what I'm going to return. So this is how you need to create the execution strategy. And using this strategy, you can call this execute async method. And within this method, whatever the logic we provided, if it failed because of the SQL transient error, then that logic is going to be re-executed. Clear? Have you ever used this thing in any of your projects?
No.
So basically, right, right, you have to do this thing, right? This will definitely give you better, right? I mean,
Hello.
better performance and also good user experience. Yes,
Hello.
yes.
Sir, can you just show me once again that
What?
module that needed to be needed for this one?
So do
This
you know what?
retrieval.
First of all, tell me. First of all, tell me what do you mean by SQL transient error? Have you ever worked with SQL Server or any database?
Yes.
So what do you mean by transient error?
Means you, it is related to you can say uh, retrieve things.
So I'm not talking about retry mechanism and all these things. I'm talking about what do you mean by SQL Server or SQL transient errors.
Which sometimes it happens that some error kind of an exception comes.
So I know errors. Whenever I'm talking about error means it is error. But what are the examples? For example, there is some primary key violation error. Is that primary key violation error is comes under the transient SQL Server error? For example, there is a column which cannot accept null value, which is a not null type, and I am providing some null value. Is that comes under transient error?
No, I think. Means
Okay.
when there
So you
is
are not
some
clear. So you are not sure what is transient SQL error. That's what I understand. See, so sometimes what happens now, whenever there is some deadlock, the server is down, so database connectivity is not communicating because of network blips. So because of the totaling, that is maximum number per request reach, so no new request. So in that case, the server cannot process your request. So those are going to be transient error. If you retry, it might be war. So you have to remember, if primary key violation error, if I'm sending the same data again and again, no response. The response is always going to be same. So that is not a transient error. But the first time there is some network issue, connectivity issue. So it is unable to communicate with the database. But if you try second time, might be that network issue fixed so that it can communicate. So in situations like this, right, what I need to do, I need to provide some retry mechanism. Retry mechanism means if the issue is related to transient, I mean this is a short lived or a temporary error related to the SQL server or any other database, but not related to our project code, then we need to provide one mechanism where if such errors occur, they can retry. Clear?
yes.
And how you can implement this? First of all, you need to create one SQL Server retry execution strategy object. How you can do this? By calling this method, you will get the object, and using this object, you need to call this execute async method. And this execute async method, it is a generic method, anonymous method. You can, sorry, it is a generic method. And within this generic method, all the data access code we need to write. And whatever the code we have, we are going to write within this method. they are going to be re-execute if they failed because of a transient error. Clear?
Yes.
Now, here what I'm doing, please observe. I'm creating one SQL server, I mean DB transaction object by calling this begin transaction async method. This is going to my transaction object. And here I'm creating my application user. So whatever the data you need to do, you have to provide. And then you need to call the ready create async method. And in this case, it is going to create a new user. If a user is created successfully, then then what I need to do, if user is created successfully, what I need to do, I need to commit the transaction. If user creation is failed, then what I need to do, I need to roll back the transaction. If there is some issue executing this code, then what I need to do, I also need to roll back the transaction. Clear? Clear or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So next one is my get for edit async method. So this is going to create a new user, and this is going to provide the data for the edit view. So in this case, in the edit view, whatever the data I required, existing data, I need to pre-populate, and which will also allow the user to update this information. So in this case, whatever the information I'm showing, this data, additionally two information also I'm going to capture. What are the information? One is the concurrency star to handle the concurrency issue. If the same data is going to be modified by two admin at the same time, to handle that scenario, we need to use concurrency star and definitely that user ID. So for this purpose, what I'm doing here, I'm using this method. Okay, so instead of view, let me give this name as user. Okay. So in this case, you can see using user manager, I'm retrieving the data rate based on the ID. If data is available, that's fine. If not available, I'm going to return null. And then if data is available, I'm going to create my user edit view model. Whatever the ID, first name, last name, whatever the data along with the concurrency value, I'm storing inside this view model, and that view model I'm returning from this method. Clear? And this value is basically used for the concurrency handling, right? Optimistic concurrency update. Clear?
Yeah.
Clear
Sir,
or not?
one more question. One more
Yes,
question.
yes,
You
please.
told me that concurrency, yeah, concurrency stamp is used for concurrency,
So first of all, you just
right?
tell me, did you attend all my EF core sessions?
No.
Then go ahead and watch those sessions, because how this concurrency will come into the picture for handling the concurrency issues in a real-time application, I have discussed in Entity Framework Core. So just go ahead and learn that session, because that is not our objective in user management service. So what my thought process is, what first of all I'm explaining 15 sessions I have taken to explain Entity Framework Core. And why I'm taking 15 sessions? Because I'm not going to keep focus on entity framework core while I'm discussing the other concept. So here I'm not going to discuss what is the use of a as no tracking. I'm not going to discuss what is the use of a faster default. I'm not going to discuss what is the use of this concurrency stuff to handle the concurrency issues when multiple update operations are going to perform. Why? Because this concept I have shown practically in my session. Am I right, guys?
Yes.
So that example, completely working example in a different scenario. If two users trying to access the same data, trying to update the same data, how that concurrency issue will cause, how that going to be handled by entity framework or using this one, how you can create a concurrency column, or you can say timestamp column in the database. What should be the data type? What should be the right property type? How many property by data type you can create one entity? All these things we have already covered. That is what I'm not going to discuss at this point of time. So here, anything related to user management, I'm going to discuss, and which is part of entity framework for which I have already discussed in detail. I'm not going to touch. So next one is my update async method. Update async method means what? It is going to update the data. Again, that same strategy I'm using here. And within this method, you can see I'm starting the transaction. So let me give some better naming convention, right? In this case, if there is no data, and guys, remember, whenever you start a transaction, 100% you have to either roll back the transaction or commit the transaction. Don't do anything like this. Transaction is there, but not committed or not rolled back. So here, if the ID is not found, if there is no user with this user ID, then I need to roll back and I need to return this error message. If the user concurrency stamp is not equals to, so whatever the concurrency stamp we received from the model database and whatever the concurrency stamp is already there in the database, if both are not same, then what I need to do, guys? I need to roll back the transactions. Then what I need to do, if the provided email is same, right? Whatever the user provided email and whatever the provided email, right? If they are not same, for example, in this case, let assume. So if you say, what is this email ID? Email ID, current email ID is this one. And this email ID is already taken by someone else. Now, if I'm going to update this user with this email ID, does this allow or not? It should allow this Aditi Burma to update with this email ID, or it should throw me the error that this email ID is already taken.
It should throw error.
Throw error.
It should throw error. See, am I getting this error message? Why? Because this is already taken. But at the same time, if you see, if with the same email ID I'm going to put here, is this going to give any error?
No.
No error. So that's what I need to check. If the provided email ID and the existing email ID both are not equal, then only we need to do this validation. If both are equal, do I need to check in for any validation? Not required. Clear? Clear or not?
Yes.
Right? If both are equal, right? If both are not equal, then what I need to do? I need to set this email ID. While setting the email ID, doing the validation will be taken care by the set email async method. Whether that email ID is already exist or it is taken by someone else, that what it is going to handle here. If email succeeded, I mean that's fine. If here we need to roll back the transaction and we need to return. Similarly, after setting this email, and in our case, that email and the username both are going to store the same data. So we also need to set the same thing. Whatever the email ID, that what we are also going to store in the username field. That again the same validation I have to apply here. So basically, if the both email are same, I mean existing email ID with the provided email ID, no issue. If both are different, then we need to handle this thing manually. Clear? Yes or no? Right. And
Yes.
after that, the rest of the things are very simple. Whatever the first name, last name, phone number, date of birth, is active, email confirm, modified on, right? That what you need to set accordingly. And then we need to call this update async method, which is going to update the data. If update operation succeeded, that's fine. If it failed, we need to roll back. If succeeded, then what we need to do? Finally, we need to commit the transaction and we need to set this identity success to true. Clear? And while executing the transaction, any error related to my application means I need to roll back the transaction. Clear? Clear or not?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Right. Now next what is going to be there? Now next, this is my details page. In the details page, this user information I need to show plus the associated roles. So that is what I need to display in the get details async method. So in this case, first of all, based on the user ID, I need to retrieve the user data. If the user available, that's fine. If not available, return null. Then what I need to do? I need to get right. We need to identify API requires the user identity for the role lookup. So in this case, if you go to this get roles async method, right, go to the definition, right? So this is the method definition. What exactly it is going to return? Get a list of role names the specified user belongs to. So basically, whatever roles are assigned to this particular user, those list of roles it is going to return. Clear? And roles means that named role name, whatever the role name, that are assigned to this particular user, that list of roles it is going to return. Clear? Clear or not?
Yes.
And what is this? This is going to be a list of string, right? And then what I need to do, I need to set ID name, all these properties value, I need to set here. And this is right. For example, if you want to sort the name by right some ascending order or descending order, you can do this by using this order bar. So order by means by default this is a string. So based on the name ascending order, it will sort the data. If you want, you can do it. If you don't want, you can also remove this, no issue. Clear? Clear or no?
Yes.
Now, so now delete a user, right? For example, now we need to delete a user. The same strategy I have applied so that if any transient SQL error, that logic is going to be re-execute. So first of all, I need to fetch the user by ID. If user is not available, again, let me give a better transaction name. Okay. So here you can see if the user is null, then I need to return this not found error. If user is available, then what I need to do? See, first of all, we need to check what is the admin role and whether this user is assigned with the admin role. And is this the last admin user? Because if there is no admin, then how they can manage the application? So if you are deleting the user, that's fine. But we also need to ensure this should not be the last admin user. If it is the last admin user, if that admin user is deleted, then who is going to create a new user? Who is going to handle this all this functionality? Getting my point? Are you getting my point? Why I'm going to provide such validation? Is that clear or not? If it is the yes, I'm going to delete the user, but if it is the last admin user, then I should provide a restriction. If it is not the last admin user, that's fine. We are not going to bother about. We can delete the user. So first of all, I need to face the admin role. If admin role is not null, right, then what I need to do? I need to check whether this user is assigned with the admin role or not. If this user, see, you have to remember in earlier stages in the get details by ID method, we are calling this get roles async method, which is going to return me all the assigned roles for this user. In this case, I'm not going to check whether this, I'm not going to check all the assigned role. Here, I'm going to check whether the whether this particular user is assigned with this role or not. Is this user in this role? How you can do this? By calling this is in role method. And if this user is in this role, then this method is going to return true. If it return true means what? Means it is the user, it is the admin user. If it returns false, what exactly it means? It means this is not an admin user. Clear? If it returns false means what? This is a normal user, it is not a admin user. Normal user means you can delete them as expected. So here you can say I'm deleting the user. So instead of deleting the user, if you are going with the soft delete functionality, that is also fine. So soft delete functionality means what? Means you have to mark the is active column as false. Clear? So whatever option you want, you can do it. But again, if it is if you want to mark the is active false, then why you are going to delete this one? We are having the edit page. From the edit page, you can mark the is active columns to false. That's it. But in this case, it is going to delete the user permanently. But if it is the admin user, then what exactly we need to do? We need to go inside. In the inside, what I need to take? We need to check this is not the last admin user. How we can do this? I need to check whether another admin exists apart from this user ID. Is another admin? So we have already this is an admin role ID. And within this DP context dot, right, identity user role table, user role mapping table, we are having this user role mapping table. Inside this user role mapping table, is there any user exist with this admin role and apart from this user ID? If it exists, that means what? Now this is valid and we can delete this user. If it is not exist, then we are using this not operator means this condition becomes true. In that case, we need to roll back the transaction. We need to return. Yes, boss, this is the last admin. You cannot delete this admin. Clear? Yes or no?
Yes.
So are you guys right? I'm just asking, are you implementing your right membership management by taking these things into consideration, or blindly you are going and deleting the user?
Cascade
Clear or
delete.
not? Right? So you should not do it, because if you delete, then how the admin is going to manage the thing? Clear, guys? Is that clear?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Now again, you can see this is my manage roles page. In the manage roles page, what I need to do, I need to return all the roles, right? First of all, yes, that admin data is going to be there. What is the, sorry, the user ID, username. And again, what I need to do, I need to return the list of all user, list of all active roles. So this is not user, the list of all active roles. Plus, we also need to manage, right? We also need to provide whichever roles are already staked or already selected. So that information we need inside this view. And for this purpose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this get roles for edit async method. So here I'm going to take the user ID. Based on the user ID, I need to fetch the data, right? In this case, you can see if the user is not, we need to return not. Then what I need to do, I need to go to the roles manager and I need to retrieve all the roles. So roles manager dot roles as no tracking order by name to list async method. This is going to return me all the, right, what I can say roles. Here also what I need to do, I need to provide one condition. And what is that condition? Role such that role dot is active. Clear? Only the list all active roles. If the role is not active, it doesn't make any sense to return that role. Clear?
Mm.
Clear or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Right? So once we got all the role, then we have already discussed what this get roles async method is going to return me. What this method is going to return? It is going to return me all the assigned role names for this particular user. So we are having all the roles, and this method, and this is going to be one string array. I mean, this is a list, and this list is going to contain all the assigned roles. So once we have all the roles, once we have the assigned roles, then we can check, right, whichever roles are already assigned. How? By using a select statement. See, this is my user ID, username, and in the roles, what I'm doing, I'm selecting all these roles, right, to this role checkbox item. So we have already created this role checkbox item where we are going to store role ID, role name, description, and is selected. So in this case, what I need to do, role ID, role name, description, that's fine. So while I'm checking this is selected, so what I need to do, now whatever the role name that's available here, is this role name available inside this assigned roles name? So assigned dot contents, whatever the role name, is this content inside this assigned roles? If it contains, then it is going to return true. So if this role name, whatever I'm selecting, so this is, you can consider this is a loop. So inside this loop, one by one, I'm accessing all the roles, and that roles I'm storing in the role ID, role name, description. Again, whatever the assigned role name, that what I'm going to check inside this assigned. So if you are getting confused, assigned roles, give this name as assigned roles. So whatever the role name I'm looping through, is not available inside this assigned roles. If available, then this method is going to return contents method. It is going to return true. And in that case, is selected is going to be true. Clear? Clear or not?
Yes.
Okay. Now this is going to my update role async method. Update role async method means it is going to update the data. So whichever roles you selected, they are going to be added. Whichever roles you have deselected, they are going to be removed if already added. So few things you need to consider here. So let me first fix the error message. So guys, remember whenever you are implementing all the scenarios you need to take into considerations, right? So first of all, I need to ensure this user ID exists. Say yes, if user ID exists, that's fine. If not exist, roll back and return this error message. Then what I need to do? So this is going to return me the selected role IDs. So whichever roles are selected, for example, in this case, this is selected, and these three are selected. So if this, let's assume this three are selected, then this three role ID is going to be stored inside this selected role IDs. Clear? Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
So here, to ensure that what I'm going to do, there should not be any duplicate. So what I need to do, I need to call this a distinct method. So this distinct method is going to contain, right? For example, if the selected, if you remove all the selected, right? For example, if you do this thing, means currently no role is assigned. So in that case, it is going to be null. In that case, we are going to create an empty string. If any roles is provided, then in that case, we are going to call this a distinct method. What exactly this distinct method is going to do? Can anybody tell me? If in this collection, if two are having the same value, then one of the value is going to be removed. Only the unique data it is going to store. Duplicate means two times, three times. If a particular value appears, it will consider only one. Clear?
Yes.
Clear or not? So this
Yep.
is going to be IDs. And then, right, what I need to do from this IDs, what I need to do, I need to get what I need to get. I need to get the role names. So because that role name is required while I'm assigning, not the ID. So what I need to do, I need to check. What I need to check now, what if the length is not equals to 0? So this is an array. If any data is there, then definitely that is going to have some length. If length is 0, means it is an empty array. If length is not 0, then what it means? It means some IDs are there. Then what I need to do? I need to fetch the data from the roles table, and based on this IDs, only we need to select the name, and then we need to convert that into an array. So this is going to contain me all the selected role names. So whatever the IDs we provided, based on the IDs, we need to paste the data from the roles table. And that again, we are not interested on all the columns data. We are only projecting the data to the, we are only selecting the name. And in this case, this is going to be a list of a string. Array of a string. So if you want, you can also convert this to a list of a string. So for that purpose, what you need to do, you have to call this a to list async method. So again, this is not to work because here we are using this array of a empty string. So here you can see list of a string. Clear? See, this is one new list of string. So here you cannot apply the selected this length. So here what you need to do again, and in this case you can say as we are working with the again. So here you can call this as a to list. So to list and here if the count equals to 0 and selected names dot count is going to be IDs dot count. So that what you need to apply. See, whatever. If you are working with, if you are fine with the list, you can go with list. If you are fine with the array, you can go with the array, right? So that's fine. So in this case, right, if whatever the number of IDs, for example, after applying this distinct, let assume we are having 3 ID, and here the count is 3, and again based on these 3 IDs, whatever the data, roll name we paste, again that must be 3 names. If the count is not same, right? If the count is not same, then in that case, we need to roll back the transaction. Clear? Clear
Yes.
or not?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, clear.
Again, right? Then once this is done, right? If the counter match means what? Now the data is fine. So whatever the role ID we provided, all these role IDs exist in the database. So in that case, what we need to do, first of all, we need to fetch all the assigned roles. Whatever the current roles, that what we need to fetch based on the user. So once you have the current roles and once you have the selected role names, then what we need to do? You need to calculate the differences. So how you can do these things? So what is the use of a except method? So we are having union, intercept, and except. So there are three method is provided for the operation, logical operation. One is union, one is except, one is intercept. So what is the difference? So union means what? Can anybody tell me? Union means what? Guys, tell me.
To select
It will
all matching
combine the two
columns,
result setters.
matching and non-matching.
Matching and non-matching, right? Union means joining both, right? Matching and non-matching from both tables. Except means guys tell me.
Select all select
Except means which are appear in the right exactly even I'm also getting confusion. Let me go to the definition and check this one. So there is no right what I can say definition is provided. Produce the set differences of two sequence according to the specified key selected. The type a function to extract the key. A sequence contains the set. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. So basically what exactly it means, even I'm not sure what exactly between these two. So out of these two, right, one method, even there should be some, right, okay. So even if you
part.
forgot, no,
Except is without. If you select all except that one.
no. Let me go ahead and show you this thing very clearly. What happened this, I know this thing, but I'm getting confused, right, between these two things. This is not giving me the clarity. Basically, I want to display this thing right pictorially.
From the two result sets, if you are filtering except the if the from the two result sets,
Yes, right. That is what I'm going to discuss.
And the difference is the one does not exist in the first. As yeah.
Give me 1 minute, guys. Because see what I want to show you. I want to show you the right pictorial representation. Who is on mute? Please mute. Let me close all these things. So lin queue, accept method, intercept method, and a distinct method. See, so this is going to my LinQ accept method, right? So in case of accept, there are two data sets. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here 1, 3, 5, 8, 9, 10. So accept means the output is going to be 2, 4, 6. Means what? Means in this case, whatever the data exists in data set 1, if it is not existing data source 2, that is going to be the output. Clear? Clear or not? So what is the use
Yes.
of how the except is going to be work. Except is going to
Yeah.
work means if we are having two data sources, whatever the data present in data source 1, if that data is not present in the data source 2, then whatever the data is not present in data source 2, that is going to be the out. Clear? So here you can see 246, this is available in data source 1, but not in data source 2. That is the reason why this is going to be the output. 135, they are available in data source 1, data source 2, so they are not going to be the output. Output means it basically from the data source 1, which is not exist in data source 2. Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And coming to intercept, intercept means the data which is exist in both the data sources. Means in data source 1 it exists, as well as in data source 2 it is going to be exist, and that is going to be the output. So in this case 135 it is exist in data source 1. Again this is also exist in data source 2. That is going to be my output. And coming to my union method, right? If you look at the union, so in that case all the cell, all the data. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here 1, 3, 5, 8, 9, 10. So the output is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Only difference is that if the same data available in data source 1 and 2, one data is going to be, I mean, by removing the duplicate. So here you will see the data from data source 1 and 2, but removing the duplicates. Clear?
Yes.
So here you can see 3 is appeared, 1 is appeared in data source 1 and as well as in data source 2, 135. Here also 1, 2, 3, 5, 135. But in the output only 135 appears 1. The duplicate is going to be removed. So in this case, what is the except method is going to do? Except method means what is my current data source? The current data source is the current roles. What is my target data source? The target data source means whatever the selected roles. That selected role names count. That what we get. So if I'm applying this target with the current, and if I'm applying correct with the target, so in this case, what I will get? So when target with the current means what is the result? The result means what? Now in this case, the target, this is my data source 1 and this is my existing data source. So here data source 1 is first one, this is second one. So in this case, whatever the IDs, whatever the roles available in the target data source, which are not available in the current data source, that what I'm going to get. For example, if you look at these things, so in this case, uh, right link to except. So this is my target data source. One, let assume in the target data source, okay, let us give some red conditions. Condition in this case, let assume this is my current, this is my target. So to give you better clarity to understand this thing, let assume here I'm having admin manager. Admin and a manager. Admin manager, another role is there. Admin uh, manager and the user. So this is going to be the existing data, existing role. And in the target, what I'm providing this admin manager plus another two. What are that? Let's assume this customer support and one more, let assume this vendor. So these are the four that is going to my target. So in this case, if I'm applying this target my data source 1 except current, then what will be the output? What will be the output in this case? Word is going to give me what data? Can anybody tell me word is going to give me?
Customer support vendor.
Customer vendor.
Customer support and a vendor.
Vendor.
Right? Why? Because this customer support and vendor exist here, but not exist here. Admin, manager, they are exist here, they are exist here means they will not come into the picture. So in this case, if my current data source is this one and my target is this one, so which user I need to add now? Already this admin manager exists in the database? Yes. Does this customer support and vendor exist? No. So no means these two I need to add or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
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 Clear? Okay, now coming to this one, right? And by looking at this current and target, which user, which role I need to remove for this particular or for this current user? Which role I need to remove?
User.
User. So now coming to this part, let us try to understand. So in this case, what I need to do? Now, in this case, what is the current? This current means this is my data source one. So data source one means admin manager user, and target means this is. So admin manager available here, admin manager available here. So in this case, what will be the output?
User.
User. So that what I need to remove or not? Yes or no? So
Yes.
if
Yes.
I add these two and if I remove this one, then does the database going to contain these four rows? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? That is what I need to do here. So to add that length if it equals to 0. So to add again, right? What I can do is I can apply this to list. Here also I can apply the to list. So instead of length, what I can do is I can make use of count function. Okay. Okay, so now you can say this is my to add, right? To add count. If at least one entity, I mean one record, one role is there to be added, and if the to remove count equals to 0, right? Means there is nothing to add, there is nothing to remove. Then we are not going to do anything. For example, when it will be this scenario, for example, let assume the current role are this one. So I'm not going to change anything with the same existing road. I call the same method. In that case, what exactly it is going to do? In that case, neither it is going to add anything nor it is going to remove anything. Clear?
Yes.
Now, if at least one record is there in the count, toward is greater than 0, then what I need to do? I need to add this one, right? Whatever the toward roles are there, add to roles async method, we need to pass the user, and whatever the roles I need to add, that what I need to pass. And if it is completed, right, while adding, if there is some issue, I need to write what I can say. I need to roll back the transactions. Again, you can see, right? So again, if the to remove count is greater than 0, I need to remove that role. From this user, I'm going to remove this user. And whatever the operation is completed successfully, that's fine. If fail, I need to roll back this one. And after rollbacking, that identity result I need to return. If both the operations are completed successfully, I need to commit the transaction. Clear?
Yes.
Clear or not?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm not removing this thing. Let it will be there so that you will get more clarity. So this is going to be my service method. Clear? So line by line, each statement I explain. I'll provide this document. Now it's time to proceed further and let's do the remaining part. So first of all, I need to register this where I need to register within the program class. So whatever the newly generated service, that what I need to register. And after this, what I need to do? Next, I need to create the controller and the action method. So let me go ahead and create the controller class. So this is going to be my controller class. Let me go ahead. This is the controller class. No business logic, nothing is going to be there. So simply method. So index action method. From the query string, it will get the filtered. It will call this method. Again, like the roles model, whatever the filter data we are storing in the right view back. And this is my create method, which is going to create, which is going to render the create view model. Once the view is submitted, this is the action method, which is going to handle the view, post data, and it will call this create method to create the new user. Again, this is going to my edit method based on the user ID. First of all, it will retrieve the data from the database by calling this service class get for edit async method. It will return the data, and that data we are providing to the corresponding view. And when you update the data and click on the submit button, this is the post action method that is going to be handle the read form submission. it will call this update async method of the user service class, which is going to update the user data. And here you can see I'm handling the different types of what I can say error. So DB update concurrency exception, DB update exception. So basically, if there is some issue related to concurrency, this will execute. Other than concurrency, this method is going to be execute. And if any generic exception, this is going to be execute. So this is going to return the details of a user based on the ID along with the assigned roles. And this is going to render the delete page where you can delete the particular user. And if the user is not the last admin, then it will be deleted. And that user is going to be deleted when you submit the form by clicking on the button. And this is the action method which is going to delete the user. So this is going to manage the roles. For example, whatever the all the roles are there, whichever roles are selected, which are not selected, allowing the user to select any specific role, remove any specific role. So for this purpose, this is going to render the view. And once you update the roles information, and I mean update the selected roles and click on the submit button, then this is the model which is going to handle the data, and it is going to deal with this update role async method to update the role information. And this method is going to set the success message, set the failure message. Multiple places you can see I'm going to set some temp data error message, success message, failure message. For that purpose, I'm creating two, what I can say, a private helper method which is going to set the success message. Another one is going to set the failure message, and this is going to retrieve all the identity errors for the model to be displayed. So now what I need to do, I need to create the corresponding views. So let us proceed and start with the index view. Let me stop this one. Okay, so let me create the index view. So this is the view which is going to display the index page, right? Under code, I'm not going to display what is going to be there, similar to our role page. So same logic, same functionality, everything is going to be same. The next view is going to be our create view. So let me go ahead and create the view. So right click, add view item, razor view, provide the view name as a create, click on this button. So this is going to be create view, which is going to render the create page. I'll show you this page in some time. So let me first copy the code and paste it there. So which is going to render the create view where I will it will ask the user to enter the detailed information of the newly created user. The next one is going to my edit view, copy the name, add a view. The view name is going to be in this case edit. So this will very similar to your create view, but along with the create view, it is going to have two additional hidden input field. What are those? One is user ID, another one is the concurrency column. So those two things I have added here as hidden input field. So one is the ID, another one is the concurrency stuff. Apart from this, rest of the things are going to be same. Next one, I need to create the details page where I'm going to show the user information along with the assigned roles. So this is going to be the details view. So let me go ahead. So this is going to show the details view, user detailed information along with the assigned roles. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the delete view, which is going to show the uh, delete user page with the checkbox to ensure that you are going to delete the user until and unless you have not select the checkbox, that delete button is going to be disabled. So let me go ahead and do this thing. So this is going to my delete page where I'm going to show the information, user information along with the button. So last one is going to my manage roles page. So this is the page where we are allowing the user to select and unselect the assigned roles for a particular user. So let me go ahead and create this page also. Okay. And finally, in the layout page, we need to provide one option for the user management. So this is the changes that what we need to do in the layout page. So in the layout page, go ahead. Shared layout. And in the layout page, we need to provide one option for the roles. For the user. So this is the link that what we need to add. With these changes, now run the application and see whether it is working as expected or not. If everything is fine, then it should work as expected. So we have not logged in. So once I click on this user, it will be redirected to the login page. In the login page, what I'm going to do is, see, this is showing that page. That's fine. Here you can add a new user. Let's assume I'm providing any name, right? This providing some dummy password. Test at the rate 1234. If you want to see this password, you can click here. Test at the rate 123. See, I'm providing some invalid password. It is showing me this error. So this is, and yes, it is active user. This email is confirmed. And I click on this create button. So you can see Pranay Kumar 777 was created successfully. And if you want to search this user, you can provide that user information by name. You can see. You can search this one by email ID. That is also possible. So here you can see 3 users are there with this email ID column. Right? That is also possible. Now, if you want to edit this user, suppose I want to make this user inactive, then you can click. So you can see inactive. Now, if you want to make this user active, but email is not confirmed, that is also possible. Clear? Now, if you go to the details page, you will see, right, that user is this one. Not, I don't want to use this one. So let me go ahead and select this one. So this Pranay detail, this is what we have created. Now, if you go to this one, so currently you can see no roles is assigned. Now, let me go ahead and assign role. From this page, you can assign the role. Also, right, you can go to this right back list of users. And from this page, you can also assign the role. So manage roles. So now I want to allow this, what I can say, a manager, vendor, user. These three roles I want to assign. Click on the save button. You can see this user is assigned. Now, if you want, right, you can also mark this email as confirmed. So now, if you want to delete any user, you can also delete that user. So here you can see this Pranay Kumar 7. I want to delete. Click on this delete button, and you can see this delete is disabled. So once I select this and once I click, that the user is going to be deleted. Clear? If you go to the roles, now if you see this view detail screen, so these are the users who are having this role admin. Now if you go to this page, right, Arjun Mehta. See, this Arjun Mehta is one user. So this is his email ID. And if you say he is having this role manager, now log out this one, login, email ID is Arjun Mehta, password is going to be test at the rate 1234 and login. So in this case, you can say this is the user which is having the managerial role. But this user can also have access to do whatever he wants to do. He can add another user, he can update the user, he can delete the user. Does this is the responsibility of the manager? No. So basically, in our next session, mostly on Saturday or Sunday, right, I will update tomorrow. We are going to discuss role-based access control. So basically, if the user role is not admin, or if the role user is admin, then what are the operation he can do? If the not, if the role, if the user is not belongs to the admin role, then what are the operation he cannot do? If the role is admin, then I'm going to show this roles and users management menu. If the user doesn't belong to the admin role, then these menus are not going to be visible. So if the role is not admin, then for example, for the admin user, I want to restrict this edit and manage roles. This edit, manage role and delete options are going to be disabled for the admin role. Rest of the column, rest of the things are going to be shown. But if the user admin, these things are going to be enabled. So how you can implement all these things in your application? So for that purpose, we are going to discuss claim-based authentication. So in the next two sessions, what we are going to discuss mostly that roles-based access control and claim-based authentication. Clear?
Yes.
Anyone having any question, they can ask.
Sir,
Clear, guys? Yes.
sir, SQL transient error mechanism also available in ADO.NET?
Yes, that is available everywhere. See, you just tell me, in ADO.NET, I'm not using transactions. Am I
We are
using
using
transactions or not?
but we never.
Yes, yes. See, in ADO.NET, that is not available. Why? Because in ADO.NET, we are not using a DB context. So that is explicitly provided to us, right, by what I can say, entity
For entity
framework code.
framework.
Yes.
Okay,
And
sir.
for
That's
in
why because
ADO.NET,
we never used in ADO there, no, sir.
but nowadays, no one is using ADO.NET, right? If you are working with any ASP.NET, 90% of projects are developed using ADO.NET. If you want to use some kind of a retry mechanism, you can make use of a library, .NET library, that is Poly. Have you ever used Poly library?
No, sir. Not yet.
So that the library, that package they have provided, using that package, right, you can implement some retry mechanism. Even if you want, you can also manually implement that retry mechanism within your application. That is also possible.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Anyone having any question? But this is the things you should use it. But again, you should use it in such condition. Means what is the purpose? Means it will only handle the transient SQL error, not the other kind of SQL error. If you are getting some primary key validation error, some constant error, then that is not going to be handled by this one. Clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyone else having any question? So once the role-based and the claim-based authentication is completed, then we'll discuss that external authentication. So for example, in this login page, we are providing this Google, Facebook, GitHub, Microsoft, but currently these are not implemented. So I will show you at least two to three I'm going to implement. One or two you will implement. If you understand two, then remaining you can implement, right? There should not be any kind of issues. So once we implement this thing, then we'll discuss the remaining. Remaining means password management. We need to provide how to change the password, how to implement the forgot password, how to implement the two-factor authentications, how to implement that captcha functionality. Currently, you can see email and password is there, but do I need to provide one captcha? Yes. How to implement that captcha functionality in your application? How to provide that account lockout means if you provide some wrong password 3 times, 4 times, your account is going to be locked. How you can ensure if your password is exceeds 6 months, then you cannot use the old password. For example, if you go with the banking site, in every 6 months or every 1 year, you have to update your password. So how you can enforce such a mechanism within your application? That is what we are also going to discuss. Clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So because we are developing means all the concepts we need to discuss. Anyone else having any question, they can ask me. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.